Well, Pete, this week I had an idea for something that we could do different with the show. Pete, are you there?
Yeah. He went to the bathroom, so I figured I'd step in and
wait. Who is
cover
this?
while he's gone. Hi, it's Carl.
Oh, okay. Well, should we wait for him, or we just want to start the episode, and then when he gets back, we'll just.
No,
Then he can just
I think
jump
we
in.
might as well go because I don't think he even saw the movie. I think he was just going to wing it. I think he was just going to kind of wing it and act like he did, and just kind of like when like big plot revealing points were talking, he was like, "Oh yeah," but then not add anything to the conversation.
So let's pull back the curtain. Pete's not here, man. He's not here. He sometimes life gets in the way, and you're not able to go see the movies that you want to see, or do the things you want to do, and that's what happens. Pete's currently bound and gagged in someone's basement. We've sent the ransom money. We don't know what will come of that, if anything will come of that, but we're hopeful. So Carl is filling in this week.
Hey,
which is exciting. You're an appropriate fill-in on an episode like this. Dare I say, potentially a more appropriate fill-in than the original would be, given the subject matter. Pete's not as big of he's not a comic guy. He's seen a lot of the MCU, but admittedly he hasn't seen every film in the MCU, and he's been skipping Disney Plus MCU series left, right, and center.
And I'm aware of this, and after watching the film, I'm like, my thought was, we'll talk about that. That's a big part of this film. Missing content,
because I want to talk about, and maybe you'll know where I'm going with this.
Certain content.
Yeah, and maybe you'll know where I'm going with this. But I think we need to talk about the Loki series, and sort of how that, like, what the implications are, and how that ties in, and how it doesn't tie in, and stuff like that.
There's a lot of different directions that the MCU can go now. Like, they've set up. It feels like, without getting into too much, it feels like they've set up several different branching story arcs that they're connected, but they're not connected.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm expecting you to fill in all of the responsibilities of Pete. I'm just throwing you into the fire. So hello and welcome.
I'm ready to go. I'm wearing his garter. It's a little tight.
Gross.
I can barely breathe, but we're good.
So I say hello and welcome, and you say...
This is the Movie Men Podcast. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
and then you introduce us.
Oh,
and half the time
I'm
you
Pete,
get it wrong.
And this is Brady, and we're the Movie Men Podcast. Oh, wait, no, I'm Carl, and this is Brady, and this is the Movie Men Podcast. Yeah, sorry, I'm channeling Pete just a little too much there.
Getting it wrong is actually fairly accurate.
Yeah.
It's okay. So you actually, in your channeling of Pete, you were just telling me you've gone so far as to actually prepare trivia.
Oh, trivia? Do I have trivia?
I don't know, dude. Ow!
Oh, yeah. I pushed the button.
See, I don't always do it, but it's a guess.
You got to do it for me. I'm the special guest host.
Exactly.
All right. Are you ready? I have, like Pete, I have some trivia, and I have some fun tidbits that I Googled.
Trivialize me.
So this movie.
Oh, wait. We should hang on. We should say this should be a given. If you haven't seen Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, we're about to spoil everything about this film.
We're going to spoil the heck out of this thing.
So don't listen.
Go away
if you haven't seen it.
Or if you do care.
Yeah. And then come back.
Yeah. Cool.
Download it and put a pin in it.
That being said, 3-second warning. Oh, you got enough warning. All right, here we go.
Yeah,
Ready?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. The Multiverse of Madness was directed by Sam Raimi. How many years has it been since his first directed feature film? His last directed feature film.
first feature film?
No, his last. How many years has it been since his last directed feature film?
Oh, crap. Okay, so he should have quit after Spider-Man 3, but I'm guessing he didn't. Is Drag Me to Hell his? Geez. I'm guessing it's been a while, otherwise it would not be a significant question. I'm going to say 10 years.
10 years. Final answer?
I mean, it's a stab in the dark, but yeah.
Okay. Incorrect. You were very close. It has been 9 years since Sam Raimi directed a feature film. The last one being Oz the Great and Powerful.
Oh, I did know that he did that. And it's actually not a bad movie. Like, as prequels for Beloved. It was good.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right. How many films has Sam Raimi directed that are comic book adaptations from Stan Lee and Steve Ditko?
Okay, so obviously there's Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. There's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. From Stan Lee.
And Steve Ditko.
Yeah.
They're a big combo.
Well, nobody talks about Steve Ditko. That's like acknowledging that someone other than Bob Kane came up with Batman.
They're pretty tied at the hip. I know. In the early days of Marvel.
Bert and Ernie of Marvel. Yeah. I mean, I only know of the 4, but I feel like it's not 4 because I'm going to say 5, thinking that there's a mystery one that I don't know of.
Oh for 2. It is 4. This is just the 4 you mentioned.
It was just as simple as, oh my God. Okay. Damn it.
All right. Charles Xavier makes an appearance in this film.
Don't tell me that. I haven't seen it.
Oh no. How many times has Charles Xavier died on screen?
Okay.
On the big silver screen.
So, Phoenix kills him in X-Men 3. Logan kills him? Or the Logan clone kills him in or someone who looks a shit ton like Hugh Jackman kills him in Logan. And then he dies arguably the most brutally in this one. Well, I mean, Phoenix kind of like deatomizes him. I think it's just the 3. Yeah, 3. Oh my
I think I'm better at stumping you than Pete. It is 4th. This film marks the 4th time Charles Xavier has died or been killed. The first time was in The Last Stand.
Oh, wait,
the second time was in Days of Future Past. The third time was in Logan.
Wait, hang on. He dies in Days of Future Past?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen that one.
Yeah, 2014 film, died.
And I only ever watched the Rogue cut.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time either. I'm going to trust my research.
It's so
which
good,
was
though.
Googling trivia. And then Logan, and the 4th time was in Multiverse of Madness, which we both just watched.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Some other fun tidbits. This film was released 2 days after the 20th anniversary of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man in 2002.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. The original director was going to be Scott Dickerson, who did the first Doctor Strange in 2016. He stepped away due to creative differences. However, the fun tidbit here is he was going to introduce Submariner, probably as one of the Illuminati in this film. But the rumors of that have now switched to him showing up in Wakanda Forever.
Right.
So that's pretty
Another
cool,
fun piece of information. Yeah, it did come out 2 days after the 20th anniversary of Spider-Man. It also came out 1 day after the 10th anniversary of the first Avengers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. This is also the 28th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we're coming up on 30 films in the MCU.
Can you believe that?
It's so crazy. So what's going to be the 30th then? The next one is Thor. Does that make Wakanda Forever the 30th? Does Wakanda get the big 3-0?
I don't know. I'll look it up. I don't think so. I think there's something else coming before that. Keep talking while I look this up.
Anyway, so yeah, I got to go see that. I saw this film on Friday, and you saw it last night. So I saw it last night in.
Oh,
Pardon?
I was just gonna say I saw it last night in Ultra AVX Dolby Atmos. Like I gave.
Did you see it in 3D? IMAX.
No, see, I was going to.
Did I?
And I somewhat regret not seeing it in 3D because people are raving about, like, they put a lot of work into making this a film for 3D. And yeah, and I just didn't do it. But I should have.
Yeah, I didn't see it in 3D. I thought, my opinion on 3D is, it kind of feels like it's kind of the allure of it is dying off, and the necessity for it's not really there. However, I do remember seeing the first Doctor Strange in 3D, and like 3D effects were amazing with the magical kind of glyphs and circles they create their magical abilities over their hands and stuff. That was like really cool, and the way it popped off the screen really added something. So thinking back on it after watching Doctor Strange 2, there were some moments where some 3D effects on those magical abilities, I think, definitely would have added something.
Oh yeah,
but I can't say if it would have or not because I didn't see it in 3D.
The musical note fight thing in 3D would have been nuts.
That would have been cool. I wasn't totally hyped on that fight, but
Wakanda Forever. Wakanda Forever will be the 30th.
All right.
Coming out in November.
Gets the big 3-0 for Marvel. That'll be cool. They'll probably make a big thing out of that, I bet.
Then we have Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Mm-hmm.
The Marvels.
The Marvels, yeah.
And then Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that we sort of have, you know.
We might as well be able to confirm now that John Krasinski is Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, probably. And I want to talk about that, obviously. But then, you know, also we have things that they haven't really given us any sort of timeline for, but they have announced. We know that we've got a Blade film coming.
Yep.
We know that we have a Deadpool film coming.
Yep.
We know that we have another Captain America movie coming.
Oh, really? Oh, I guess that'll be
with Sam.
Yeah.
And we know that we're getting a sequel to Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
We're getting pretty far out in the timeline now, but yeah.
Yeah. So, first impressions. Look, obviously this is it's a nuts film.
Oh yeah.
It's you know, I was a little disappointed that, you know, I was kind of hoping that maybe Sam Raimi's horror roots would shine through, but they didn't.
Yeah, it was more Evil Dead Army of Darkness horror film than like the original.
I was joking.
Evil
This
Dead.
film is riddled with jump scares, and this film is this is the darkest thing that we've gotten in the MCU by a long shot.
Yeah. It's definitely the darkest. I wouldn't call it horror. as much as I would call it horror as much as I would call Evil Dead and Army of Darkness horror. And I'm talking second Evil Dead, where it's more of a comedy.
I think if you were unsuspectingly bringing your 9-year-old to this film,
well, that's a bad idea.
Oh, it's just it's a Marvel film. It's Doctor Strange. We saw the last Doctor Strange. We saw the Avengers. I think you would walk out a little angry. But yeah,
end up having to walk out early.
Yeah, Doctor Strange has never been my favorite MCU character. I enjoy the first one. It wouldn't crack my top 5. Might not even crack my top 10. But I do enjoy the first one. He's fun anytime he shows up. But I was very much looking forward to this movie, and a lot of it was like, it wasn't so much just because it was a Doctor Strange movie, but I think it was like, okay, the follow-up to Spider-Man No Way Home, which really, I feel like this was marketed, or like we all went into this thinking that it was going to be more of a direct tie-in than it was. It had almost nothing to do.
Yeah, aside from the quick mention at the beginning of the film about Spider-Man, which they do talk about him as just being Spider-Man and not a Peter Parker, so that the spell kind of has taken hold on them. But yeah, I thought he was gonna, like, at some point, like in the trailer, don't they like chastise him for something that, and he's like, I did the only thing I could or whatever, and I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna talk about the Statue of Liberty incident. We're gonna talk about I can't confirm that, because the last trailer I seen was the first trailer where you hear Patrick Stewart's voice, and after that I was like, okay, there's a lot of big stuff being revealed in this, and I don't want it spoiled, so I avoid it as much as possible. So I don't know if that's true or not.
So anyways, I was looking forward to it for that. I was looking forward to it for all of the potential cameos, all of the big surprises, the big reveals.
Yeah. That was a big one.
Really, if anything, this film is not a follow-up to Spider-Man No Way Home. This film is a follow-up to WandaVision in a lot of ways.
Yes.
And so I was looking forward to that, and it delivered. I had a lot of fun during this movie. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about it. What did you think about this film?
So going into this film, like I said, very early on in the promotional material for this film, I decided, okay, I don't want to watch too much, even though in the past few years, especially since the Endgame movies came out, where they started kind of their teasers were riddled with non-movie accuracies. I still didn't want to watch anything or see as little as possible, because I wanted to go in clean and really enjoy it and have those reveals really hit home.
Right.
So yeah, I was excited for this movie because the last trailer I saw, we heard Patrick Stewart's voice, and it's like, oh man, the X-Men are somehow going to tie into this. Who else are they going to tie in? Like, we're talking multiverse. There's a lot of really cool stuff they can reveal and bring in.
Really, anybody could have showed up.
Anybody.
Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider could have shown up.
Yeah. Well, like we said, they could have introduced Namor in this one very easily.
Absolutely.
Because in the comic books, Namor, who, for those who don't know, Namor is like Aquaman from the DC. He in the Marvel universe. There's anyone differences, but he's the king of Atlantis.
Anyone that we'd gotten through, through Marvel movies or Marvel, we could have seen Thomas Jane as the Punisher.
Yeah, with what happened in Spider-Man, the doors were wide open because Marvel owns everything again except for Spider-Man. So anything that wasn't a Spider-Man property, we could have seen.
Yeah.
Which is so exciting. So I kept my viewing of promotional material very limited. So I was excited. And my first impression going in was it was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. All the reveals and the twists were really cool. Yeah. So my first impression after viewing it was just like, that was a great film. Now, the more time I spent thinking about it, because I saw it on Friday, I have a few beefs, but they're not, some of those beefs are more just kind of, this is a beef, but it was still really cool, and I loved it. And some of them are, this is a beef, and it, even though it may not have ruined the movie, I don't think it helped the movie either.
Right. I have a few, like, coming out of it, I've got some fundamental questions about like how the multiverse works, and stuff like that. Like some things that I feel like I need to be clarified for me. But we can get into all of that. So let's talk about right off the bat. Let's get the elephant out of the room and talk about the cameos. So starting with the one that we already knew was going to be in this, Professor X.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say,
in his original hover chair.
Yeah, with the cartoon theme song playing as he
enters,
rolled into place.
Yeah.
I think it's very fair and obvious to say that although this is Patrick Stewart playing Professor X, this is not the Professor X that we've ever seen before.
No,
I don't think this
is not
Professor
an
X from
on-screen
the other
resurrection
universe.
of anybody. Because especially, I think I would agree with you. Yeah, this is a different Professor X than we have seen on screen.
Yeah. And I'll be curious to see, like, okay, so Professor X is the only, with the exception, obviously, like we've got, the Scarlet Witch in this movie, but she's not, she has not donned the title of an X-Men yet.
No. Well, these X-Men don't exist in what is now canonized as the 616 MC universe.
Right. Obviously, we're getting the X-Men injected in a larger capacity at some point in the future. And I'm very curious about how they're going to do it because, like, as we mentioned, they kill off this Professor X, which, again, all of the deaths that happen in the universe that he's in.
Oh, man. All the Illuminati in that universe go out horribly.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter because it's not our universe, and I don't think we'll ever return to that universe again. Like, none of that mattered as far as like, ooh, this death carries a lot of weight, and what does this mean moving forward? I don't think any of that means anything. It'll be curious to see what happens though, because obviously we're going to have the X-Men, and I
at some point
don't know that you can have the X-Men without having Professor X.
Yeah.
And
they'll
if you're
either
going
have to hire a new actor or
they're
something.
Gonna have to.
You're not going to get Jon Stewart or
Patrick Stewart.
You're
Definitely not going to get Jon Stewart.
Yeah, Jon Stewart won't do it.
But like, yeah, he's just, no offense, he's just too old.
Well,
he's too old now.
He's very much on the end of his career, right?
Yeah. Well, and so Kevin Feige announced the other day that he just finished planning out the next 10 years of the MCU.
Wow.
You can't have a 10-year plan that includes Patrick Stewart.
No.
You just can't.
Yeah, because the next X-Men movie, first X-Men movie is coming out probably in like 5 years. 5 to 8 years.
Yeah.
Right, Patrick.
Yeah,
if he's not done acting now, he's done acting then.
I mean, you might see, who knows? We might see X-Men start popping up when Fantastic Four happens. They might drop a bunch of X-Men on us. They might, I actually thought we were going to see more in this film than we did. So I had several theories about this film. Some of them panned out, some of them didn't. One that didn't pan out was I thought we were going to go a House of M route in this movie. I thought that, because the problem with X-Men now and trying to introduce X-Men into the MCU is you have one of two options, as I had seen it for a very long time. Either the X-Men were always there, The mutants, either mutants have always been there, in which case, where the hell were they all this time? How do we not know about them up until now?
Where were they during the Galactus
Thanos
fight?
Thing? Yeah. Or we see the creation of mutants in the MCU, but the problem with that is that undermines everything that is so great about the X-Men and their struggle in humanity and the history of like Magneto's beef with the human race, and like, you know, you need that kind of rich backstory there.
Right.
So what I thought was going to happen, and this was based on a couple other people's theories and then sort of some injection of my own creation, was that at some point mutants had been there. The X-Men had been there. And at some point in the past, Wanda said, no more mutants. And
you're talking about like the MCU main universe.
Oh yeah. Wiped them from existence and basically rewrote history as everyone knew it.
Well,
and then
sounds good, but I feel like it's got some holes. Like, when would she have done that?
Yeah, maybe, right? Like, you'd have to see, and then in that theory, that backstory that we saw with them watching the Dick Van Dyke Show and stuff like that in WandaVision, that was all her own creation. That was all her own trying to figure out, like, you know, basically rewriting her own story. And then at some point in this film, I thought we were going to see her say, you know, mutants or whatever, bring them back. And all of a sudden we would see in all the ushering of, like, you know, everyone would, whether it was a whole new cast or it was a mix of old and new or, you know, whatever it was, at which point we would get the discovery that, like, okay, Magneto is her actual biological father, that what's his face, the guy that played Quicksilver in the Fox X-Men universe, who showed up in WandaVision as Ralph Boner, but we all thought, like, we didn't, you know, at first we all thought, like, we didn't know what we thought. We're like, what the hell's going on here? That, you know, it turns out that was actually her brother, and that he was just, he didn't even know it anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, I thought there was going to be some...
You thought there would be a payoff
there. Yeah, that didn't happen. We only got one X-Men in this movie. It was an X-Men not from the universe that makes any difference to us, and he died. Again. But that was a theory that I had that didn't pan out.
Yeah. Well, what was a theory that you had that did pan out?
A theory that I had that did pan out. I was very positive that Wanda was going to be the antagonist of this film, and that it was going to be about her looking for a multiverse, looking for a universe where her children existed. I thought it was going to be the continuation of her longing for her family. I didn't know how heavily, you know, that she was basically going to be straight up evil, because she kind of does reach that point.
Yeah.
Like, she becomes fully consumed by
the Darkhold,
the darkest version of the Scarlet Witch that has maybe ever been conceived ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was pretty certain that was going to be the motivating push behind this. I was fairly certain, and this will segue us into our next cameo, I was optimistic. I don't know how certain I was. I was pretty sure we were going to see John Krasinski in this film.
Oh yeah? Were you anticipating like an Illuminati style cast? Like we got?
Yeah, I thought we were gonna. Well, and that was because I'd seen a later trailer, and it never declared that was the Illuminati. But I mean, who the hell else could it have been? All those chairs sitting like, I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's who this is. I was pretty sure we were going to see him. I didn't know they'd kill him. I didn't know that he wouldn't be the version.
Well, they killed everybody but Mordo.
Yeah. I didn't know that he wouldn't end up being the version that we're going to see moving forward. But I was grateful for what we got. And I was also grateful because they could have easily just like sat him on that panel and not displayed any of his powers. Like he could have been there just as like a
Yeah,
quick
they could have done it with everybody.
tease, Easter egg, whatever. But we don't really get to see him in combat.
No, he starts to stretch out and then he literally turns to ribbons.
Yeah. So let's talk about John Krasinski and all this stuff, because I have this film has given me some and some recent MCU news has given me some theories moving forward.
You're not going to save the news for the end?
What news?
You said it was news.
Oh, well, no, this is just like, no, this is, doesn't matter.
All right. Hit me.
So Fantastic Four was the upcoming film was supposed to, for the longest time, was going to be helmed by John Watts, who just did the 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man films. A couple of days ago or a week ago or whatever, it was announced that he was departing from the project.
Oh.
They gave a reason. He gave a reason, which was like, there was a statement released by Kevin Feige and released by John Watts, and it was basically along the lines of like, oh, I just have like superhero film fatigue and blah, blah. I don't buy any of it. I think it's bullshit. But both statements said, looking very much forward to the possibility of working together again. I think this is what's happened. I think that John Krasinski, I think that Kevin Feige finally convinced John Krasinski to direct Fantastic Four.
You think John Krasinski's going to direct it?
Yeah. And I think that when John Krasinski agreed, Kevin Feige went to John Watts and said, hey, do me a solid.
I'll give you whatever other film you want.
Basically, yeah. Step aside on this one.
And you could do
whatever down the line, I'll give you a really good MCU film. Like something like top tier.
That sounds pretty plausible and like very. I just like the sound of it. It sounds very not like
because John Krasinski has shown his acting chops
and his director chops.
Oh, his that's what I mean. His directing chops.
Yeah.
And Kevin Feige has, and people could say, well, yeah, but John Krasinski's never done anything on this scale. He's never directed something this big. Yeah, but neither had James Gunn.
I don't
neither
think
had the
Waititi
Russo
had
brothers. Either. No, none of them had. And Kevin Feige has said many times, like, a good storyteller is a good storyteller regardless of the budget. And that's what he looks for. Someone who knows how to tell a story.
Yeah.
And if you know how to tell a story, then adding a big budget is insignificant.
Yeah. And if you're a no-name, I don't have to pay you as much.
So that's my theory.
Yeah, cool.
Now,
I like that theory. That's a fun theory.
However, there's 2 potential questions. John Krasinski has, ever since they've announced that the Fantastic Four is going to be in the MCU, John Krasinski has been like the number 1 fan casting.
Yeah.
Everyone has wanted John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Now,
even some of the fan art, I haven't seen it recently, but thinking back on it, it feels like it almost looked identical to what he was wearing.
Yeah. Which the suit worked. The suit was great. Like,
oh yeah,
it worked.
Like, can we just stay on this for one more second?
Yeah.
I gotta say this. I gotta say this. When studios look at comic book adaptations and they go, spandex will never work. Let's put them in pleather, or let's give Mr. Fantastic this absurd mechanical device that helps bring his arms back. sans the last Fantastic Four franchise. It's horrible. But when you try to stay true to the comic, as in first Fantastic Four, almost all the Marvel movies, in terms of their costumes and the characters themselves, it works so well.
Yeah. Everyone said, well, you can't actually put Wanda in the crown. It's going to look ridiculous. No, it doesn't.
It looks badass.
Sorry. It looks badass. Now, having said that, the first, like, okay, so having said that, the Bryan Singer black X-Men suits, those look sick. That worked.
The leather
you couldn't put them all in yellow. Like what he was going for, you know, he had the weight on his shoulders of getting comic book films to be taken seriously. And I don't think coming out of the gate with everyone in yellow and blue jumpsuits,
I disagree,
would have done that. Well, and that's fine.
And it doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to be yellow and blue, like literal spandex, right? But there's which one of the X-Men films, there's a like an end credit scene or a post, or maybe I can't remember where it is, where a suitcase is revealed and you see Wolverine's iconic headpiece and gloves, and it's like, if the suits look like that, like more tactical kind of yellow and blue or yellow and black, that would have worked. It would have worked. People would have resonated with it.
Yeah, it would have. But you don't always have to stay true to the comics, right? Like if we were staying true to the comics, you never would have had Hugh Jackman cast.
You need to take
He's way
some
too tall.
Personal license on it, because you're adapting paper print material into live action material. Yes. But so there is something to be said for honoring the original material.
Right.
And so people will resonate with that.
Questions about John Krasinski. There's a couple possibilities here. Because it hasn't just been everyone wants John Krasinski. Everyone wants Emily Blunt, his wife, to play Sue Storm.
Right. Yeah. She'd be really good.
Now, is it possible? I think it's unlikely, and I don't think Kevin Feige and Sam Raimi are this mean. But is it possible that John Krasinski was briefly in this movie and then killed off to deconstruct a fan casting? To be like, okay, here he is, but we're gonna... Because here's the thing about the multiverse, and it's raised a bit of a question for me, but I mean... We know that there's at least 800 different universes. Well, I mean, there's
a lot.
Unlimited in theory. So far, in every universe that we've been to, you know, in every universe that we've been to, Benedict Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
In every universe that we've been to, you know, the guy that plays Ejiofor is Mordo.
Right. But not everybody's, not every Peter Parker is the same.
Not every Peter Parker is the same Peter Parker.
Yeah. So there are some variations and there are some similarities between universes.
And there are some, as there would be in an unlimited, you know, some of them are very much the same with slight variances, and then far enough down the chain you get enough variances and all of a sudden, you know, the person's entirely different, right?
Red means go.
You know, well, you have a universe where Maria Rambeau became Captain Marvel.
Yep.
You have where
Peggy Carter
became you know,
yeah.
And so, and Black Bolt, and and all of these things. And so it is entirely possible that our Mr. Fantastic, our Reed Richards, won't be John Krasinski.
Yeah. you could swing it that way. I think you have just as much of a case to swing it another way. I think your theory,
I think it would piss everyone off.
I think your theory of saying let's just give the fans what they want so that we can do what we want. I think that's a sound theory. But I think that's more sound than saying, oh, the multiverse, you can have everybody's different. But you can flip that on its head. That goes the other way too. Everybody can be the same still.
Yeah.
Right.
So
anyways. I think your first part of that theory is where the meat is held.
So those are the big cameos in the main film that are really worth mentioning. Like I said, we have Captain Britain. And that's fun. We have Black
Bolt, like you said.
Yeah, we have an alternate Captain Marvel. Black Bolt, I would argue, is almost the most, like, what happens to Reed Richards in this film is brutal, but the death of Black Bolt, I was like, whoa.
It's crazy.
Nothing is off the table. He basically goes to do his scream.
Yeah.
But because his mouth is sealed, he like blows his own brains out.
I went to see this film with friend of the show, Tim DeArmond, and
used to be a sponsor of the show.
Yeah. Anyway, one of the things like we joked about going out was like, isn't Mr. Fantastic supposed to be like the smartest man in the universe? And yet
it was a bit of a bonehead move that he pulled.
It was a stupid move. He can kill you with one word.
They even refer to him as the smartest man in this movie. Like they give him that credential in this film, the smartest man.
Yeah, and he even in the comics, he's often credited as being one of the smartest men, if not the smartest. Like he's up there with Tony Stark.
Yeah. Now, did you start peeing in your pants like I did as soon as Christine, like before we saw the Illuminati, before we saw anything? There was a moment where my jaw dropped and I was like, oh my God, it's going to happen. When Christine it's not 616. What's the universe they go to visit? 8 something.
The Illuminati universe?
Yeah.
I don't remember the number that it was designated.
Right. Because ultimately it doesn't matter. But the Illuminati, we'll refer to it as the Illuminati universe. In that universe, she says, when she's like explaining who she is in this universe, she says that she works for the Baxter Foundation.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, immediately you've got, Fantastic Four.
I was like, oh my God, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
My theater, listen, when I went to go see, so I saw Spider-Man No Way Home twice, 2 different theaters, and both times, more so in the first theater, but definitely in both theaters, it was an energetic auditorium. Like, people lost their shit. Every time, like, Toby showed up, everyone went nuts. Andrew showed up, everyone went nuts. Daredevil showed up, everyone went nuts, right? So just like all of these, and then there were some times where they'd go less nuts. Like I would still be freaking out, but that's because I'm like, oh, okay, the average moviegoer doesn't get what just happened.
The weight of this, yeah.
Yeah. Like when Norman says, I'm somewhat of a scientist myself, only like half the theater kind of thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were other times where everyone went nuts. I think I was the only, in a fairly full theater, I think I was the only one who reacted during this film. Like when John Krasinski showed up, nobody cared. And I was like, I was losing my mind.
I don't know if my theater did or not. Like even my viewing of Spider-Man, which I saw, I'm pretty sure I saw that one twice. I can't remember. But anyway, I don't really, because if I'm engaged in the film, then what's going on around me is not important unless somebody's caressing my leg when something amazing happens.
But do you know what I mean, though? There's just those movie-going experiences. Like when I saw Endgame and Captain America catches Mjolnir.
Oh, when he
People exploded.
Oh, I know personally, I'm like, I don't know what the theater does in those moments, because if I'm engaged, it's like nothing else matters to me but what's on the screen at that point in time.
When we finally got Avengers Assemble.
Yeah. Oh, that was good.
And then again, there were subtle moments that like people, again, you have to be a diehard to get all of it, right?
And this film had a lot of that, where Professor X goes into the mindscape of Wanda.
Yeah,
like, that was
his universe is Wanda to try.
The other universe is Wanda.
See, and that's what I thought, and then that was debated with me because I was like,
who debated that with you?
Brienne. Walking out of the theater, I was like, so let's talk about the end of this movie. So seemingly, like Wanda destroys 616. Wanda destroys the Darkhold impressively in every universe. Like she just wipes it from existence. Good for her. And crumbles her. I don't know. We call it her palace, I guess.
Strange had a name for it, but
seemingly she dies.
What was it?
Seemingly.
Yeah.
Right? Like seemingly that's a self-sacrificial.
The tower crumbles, gets lifted up and dropped on top of her, and there's an explosion of red energy.
Yeah, I mean, she's also the Scarlet Witch, so who knows?
Yeah. Maybe she teleported somewhere else.
Maybe. But... And so I was like, okay, so is that just the Scarlet Witch that's now dead because our Wanda Maximoff was like buried in that rubble inside the mindscape and like all, blah, blah, blah. And Brienne was like, no, that was the Illuminati universe Professor X, because at that point, the Illuminati universe Wanda was possessed by the 616 Wanda, right? She was dreamwalking.
Right.
And so he was just trying to get her soul or her whatever, consciousness
so it was,
back into the foreground to eject the 616 Wanda out of that body.
No,
I think that's
right.
Yeah.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he even says like something to that effect when he's trying to pull her out.
Yeah, you're being controlled by the Scarlet Witch.
If we can get you out of this rubble, then we can break you free of her
the Scarlet Witch. Yeah. Yeah. So that's but I like watching it, I thought what you thought. I was like, "Oh, wow. Okay, so they're painting the Scarlet Witch
in general."
Yeah, they're painting the Scarlet Witch almost as like its own entity, and Wanda is like a victim of it, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, but that's not the case. Yeah, that makes way more sense.
I think that they've killed her, and the reason why I think Wanda is dead is because there was maybe redemption for Wanda after Westview, and redemption for her in the sense that, like even Strange says, like it'll get you back on the lunchbox. Like we can make you an Avenger again. I don't think.
Oh, like she was way far gone. I think
you can't even if like at the end of this film, she realizes what she's done. She does the right thing. Arguably, she's back on our side. No one will ever. You can't have her be an Avenger.
Well, on top of that, I don't think even if she survived, I don't think she would want to, right? Like,
no, I think she's going to cut herself off entirely from.
Yeah, her story is done no matter what, I think, at the end of this
Which
film.
is a shame, because it felt like it was just ramping up and we were finally getting the Wanda Maximoff that...
Well, yeah, this was definitely like the crescendo of her story arc, but it feels like a nice end to that story as well. It's a sad end because she dies.
It's a sad end.
And she was an amazing character, and oh shoot, the actress's name. I'm losing it right now.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen. She did an incredible job portraying her. But like, you think from Age of Ultron to Multiverse of Madness, her story arc is beautiful. right? It's got all these hills and valleys and ups and downs and twists and turns. It's not clean. It's not necessarily fun all the time when you think about it, but it's a dramatic, well done story character arc, right? So I think it's a fitting end. Well, it's not fitting. You would like to see her redeemed and have a happy ending, but it is a satisfying ending. I don't feel like I need more Wanda. I feel like Wanda's story was told. It was told very well, and now it's done, and we can move on to something else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think I want everything. I always want everything to work out so happy for everyone.
Yeah.
I want to see some sort of, because we also have out there, because I thought there was going to be this redemptive, because let's not forget, out there somewhere now is White Vision, who has basically the consciousness and memories and whatever of our Vision.
He doesn't have the memories.
No.
Because he doesn't have the connections to Wanda in that history. He's his own blank slate, which is why he fought the other Vision without thinking about it, and why Vision bringing up the ship of Theseus made him go, I need to think about
Wasn't there something at the
end,
though, where it was all transferred into him?
No, they just had normal Vision, our old Vision brought up the ship of Theseus, which I don't remember what that was all about and what it, but it was this, if I remember correctly, it was more about who are you? It was like a who are you question to White Vision, and White Vision was like, am I what my creators have made me, or am I my own person, kind of thing, and he flies off to find himself, essentially.
To discover that, yeah.
Yeah.
We have another cameo that shows up in the form of a mid-credit scene, and that's Charlize Theron as Clea.
Right. A Doctor Strange from another universe.
Yeah. And we see that our Doctor Strange is, so both the ending of this film suggests, okay, that brief time that Stephen Strange was using the Darkhold to do what he had to do, it affected him. Something has stayed with him. There is arguably a darkness now inside of our Doctor Strange.
Yeah, potentially. That this is one of the questions I have on my notes, is Doctor Strange evil now? This third eye, what is it? What power does it grant him?
Right. Because he seems in the mid-credit scene, he seems somewhat the film ends and it's oh, okay, this thing's taking over him. It's going to consume him. It's going to whatever. And in the mid-credit scene, he almost seems to
he's under control,
have a grasp on it. Yeah.
So in the comics, the Eye of Agamotto, which sits around MCU, Strange's chest, the neck that held the time stone, that in the comics, that's its own magical thing outside of the time stone, and it seems to be in this as well to some degree, because he's still wearing it without the time stone.
Yeah, he's still he uses it in an attempt to open that doorway at first.
So the that eye is considered to be a third eye kind of thing that allows him to see magic or other stuff, hidden things, to some degree. And I could be mistaken here, but I don't think I am. Haven't read too many Doctor Strange comics, but I'm pretty sure sometimes that takes the form of an actual eye on his forehead.
Okay.
Sort of
weird
the
that
third eye that sees
now.
things that normal human perception can't. So
right.
I feel my theory to this is that third eye isn't necessarily a darkness. It's more just an unlocking of a new power and ability.
But he definitely got it from the Darkhold.
The Darkhold allowed him to unlock it, but it's not necessarily a Darkhold book ability because the Darkhold's gone. The power of the Darkhold is gone.
Right.
So I feel like the struggle he has at the beginning, or at the end of the movie rather, when it first appears with the harp notes or whatever, this musical sounds that were heard during that music battle, I feel like that was more just him struggling with this new power being awakened in him. Kind of the way we kind of see other superheroes when they first get their powers, kind of like they don't know how to use it. They're struggling. Sometimes it hurts, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Does that make sense?
Which, look, I know that some people are going to hate on that. They're going to think that musical note fight was stupid.
I thought it was a
lot of fun.
It was fun, but I thought it was hokey.
It was hokey. It was. It felt a little out of place, but it was also a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see here. I'm trying to pull up because I'm pretty sure that we are at some point, as far as television shows go, Ironheart, blah, blah, blah. Or did they cancel it? I was pretty sure that they had announced, yeah, okay, we are getting an Agatha series.
Right. Now that Wanda's dead, maybe her spell ends.
House of Harkness. And so, yeah, so it'll just be interesting to see again without the Darkhold, without
Wanda.
Like, I'm curious what that series will be now.
Yeah. Is she a protagonist or an antagonist in the show? That'd be cool. We haven't had a movie or a show from the full perspective of a villain. That would be cool.
No. Yeah. That is, well, I mean, depends on what you consider Loki, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like Loki, he's a protagonist. He's the good guy, like anti-hero kind of good guy. He takes a little while to get there. He takes a couple episodes to get there because we're pulling Battle of New York Loki, who isn't redeemed yet. But by the end of it, it's probably the second episode, Loki. He's back there because he's shown his whole life all over again.
Yeah. He realizes the loss of his mother and all of this stuff.
So he ends up back on the hero path pretty quick in that show, but
right.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that's from a perspective of a villain.
Do you think that we're approaching, so look, the build up to literally, like if I look at the films, literally from about, I mean, the first time we really acknowledge Infinity Stones is in the first Guardians of the Galaxy. We've seen them.
Acknowledge them, yes, but not see them. Yeah.
No, right. The first time we see them is in...
The first time they're explained.
Yeah.
Because the Collector explains the Infinity Stones.
Yeah. First time we really see one used is in, Captain America with the Tesseract.
Yeah.
And then obviously Avengers, there's Loki's staff, and there's the Tesseract.
Mm-hmm. Then we get the Power Stone in...
Age of Ultron, like there's all kinds of, and the build up, like all of this and everything that led up to Endgame was riveting. It was obviously all building towards something big.
Yeah, there was the Infinity Stones were a connecting pattern.
Yeah. Since Endgame, and even, I mean, I consider Spider-Man Far From Home is considered sort of as the epilogue to the Infinity Saga. It's a part of that. It's like sort of the aftermath. Really, the first film in Phase 4 was Black Widow, which I didn't dislike the way that a lot of other people disliked, but I was like, making this film now doesn't make any sense. That
film should have been made and released like... after Age of Ultron at some point.
After Civil War.
Right? Because it takes place after Civil War. Right? Yeah. I was trying to figure out where it sat there. Yeah.
So now we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
Which has opened us up to some new stuff. We have Eternals, which has opened us up to a lot of stuff. Basically blew the roof off of the MCU the way we understand it.
Well, now, so Shang-Chi gives us, let's broaden this out a little bit, be more a little broad. So Shang-Chi opens us up to this kind of Chinese mysticism. There's the rings are calling to something at the end. That's kind of the moving forward. It
has to be a celestial.
What's it calling to? We don't know. Yeah.
It has to be a celestial.
You mentioned Eternals. Eternals unveils the Celestials, which we got glimpses of in Guardians of the Galaxy, but we didn't know if they still existed. Now we know these massive galaxy-sized beings that create planets and galaxies still exist. What have they been doing? What do they plan on doing? So that's where there's that. Loki now there's
the time variance
authority. parallel timelines. Are these different universes? Are these the different universes we're seeing in Multiverse of Madness, or are these different timelines in the same universe? So there's some cloudiness there, in my opinion, on what the time authority is doing.
Yeah.
My theory would be the latter. They are controlling timelines of a single universe.
But isn't there a thing about, like, when we get into the later episodes, aren't we talking about multiverse?
I don't think so. Like the guy, I forget what he calls himself, but essentially Kang the Conqueror is one of the titles he takes, but he doesn't call himself that directly. Kang at the end of time talks about there being different versions of himself fighting, but he talks about it's still timeline oriented in the way it's all described and plays out, like, what, if I remember correctly.
If not, like, see, that's where it gets confusing. Like, what is a different timeline within a same universe? Like, what the hell is that? Because well, that's why I'm saying it's cloud. Like, there's not a lot of clarity there with, because like,
when we had Loki, it was pretty clear what was going Lokis. On. Yeah, when we had Loki, it was pretty clear what the multiverse was. But now we get Multiverse of Madness, and I feel like it's not clear anymore.
Well, and even No Way Home.
Yeah, exactly.
Clouded that up.
So are we on different? Is Loki doing different timelines or different universes? Right. Because Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man different universes or different timelines?
Right.
Because it's Multiverse of Madness, it's I don't know.
Yeah, because like when Loki's standing there and he's hanging out with different versions of himself.
Yeah, and they all look different.
One that is even an alligator.
Yeah.
If those are Lokis from the same universe but different timelines, well, what the hell does that even mean? Like, that's
so there's some cloudiness there.
Hopefully going to make sense at some point. I was fully expecting to see, not fully expecting, I thought it was a very high possibility that we would see Loki in Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So my assumption is that they're separate.
Now.
The timelines things are separate, and that's its own thing. And now we've got the big giant galactic dudes. We've got the timeline problem, and now we've got multiverse problem because end of Doctor Strange, there's a cataclysm coming, which is two separate universes colliding in on themselves and destroying both.
So are we, like, ultimately, so back to the question of, like, do we feel like the MCU is now sort of refound its, because, like, after Endgame, it was kind of like a little like, okay, so, like, now what?
Right.
Like, now, like, what matters? And how do you,
So
how do you not only talk? I mean, it's the rule of diminishing returns, right? You have to keep upping it.
yeah.
You have to make it more crazy, but then you reach a point where it's like, okay, now it's so crazy that it's no longer, like when Avengers, by the time we reached the first Avengers, I mean, yeah, it was fictional and it's comic books and it's, whatever else, but there was something about it that was like relatively grounded. And you were like, okay, I can wrap my head around this and it's not super complicated. Now the MCU is very complicated.
Yeah. There's no connecting. It doesn't feel like it's going to a particular point in time. Like before we were all heading towards Infinity Stones and Thanos. Where the heck are we going?
Yeah.
Which leads to the question, and I read a couple articles that I saved them because before I watched the film, because I seen them and I was like, oh, I want to read this. And the titles of the articles were like, has the MCU jumped the shark? Which is the long running expression that comes from Happy Days when Fonzie was water skiing and he jumps over a shark. And for those that are unaware of what jumping the shark is, I'll just read a quick paragraph. It's a small paragraph here. Jumping the shark is the moment when an established long running series changes in a significant manner. This can range from something small, like introducing a new gimmick, to something that totally changes how the show works, like a genre shift. So the question is, I think that's the question we're posing right now is, has the MCU jumped the shark? Is it gotten to a point where it's just gotten too big? Right. Where does it go from here?
Yeah.
And
I hope not.
I've had some time to think about this because I read the articles and kind of preparing for the podcast, and I was like, yeah, I hope not too. And my thought is, I don't think it has. Like we talked about, we last time I was on, we were talking about some MCU stuff and how the DC universe is off the rails because it didn't have somebody leading it. And in MCU, we have Kevin Feige. And I think because we have Kevin Feige, right now there doesn't seem to be a clear direction, but that's because we don't see the whole plan. If you're not aware of the whole plan, of course it looks crazy.
Yeah.
And the other big thing is the MCU pulls all of its storylines from the comics, and the comics have been going on for generations. So
100 years.
You've got the comics have had highs and low points in their storylines where the comics theoretically have jumped the shark, but then they've gotten back on track and have been good. So with Kevin Feige at the helm, they can choose those really good storylines, adapt them to the comics, and then they can make something that makes sense because they have one person steering the ship. So, like I said before, because we don't see the whole picture, it seems like it's a mess, but we're right in the middle of the plan, like at the beginning of this phase. Right. So it seems like they're going all different places. For all we know, maybe it's supposed to go 3 different places or 4 different places. And we've got these 3 different storylines or 4 different storylines that are going to lead to 3 or 4 different really big events. Maybe they're all going to combine into one massive event again, like before. We don't know.
Right. Yeah, prior to No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness, my money would have been like after seeing Legend of the Ten Rings and Eternals, my money would have been on Galactus. I would have been like, okay, well, that's where we're headed. I mean,
I have a theory about what's going to happen.
But then, all of this multiverse stuff feels like, what does that have to do with Galactus, really? And it's possible that, with Fantastic Four, we may see the Silver Surfer. We may still head in that Galactus route.
I don't think that's where it's going.
Okay. And actually, now that I think about it, it's so funny to me that if it did go that way, we would need to pull together all of Earth's mightiest heroes and then some to try to solve this. Whereas in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, it was like, oh, okay, these 4 morons can stop Galactus.
So I feel like it's not a sound theory, but I like it, and my hope is that it kind of goes this way. Is that in around 2015, Marvel did a Secret Wars overarching storyline over all their properties in the comics, and in that storyline, there's cataclysms happening, worlds like what was talked about here, universes colliding,
incursions.
Incursions, yes, incursions. That's what they called them. Thank you. Either one or both the universes are destroyed. And this Secret Wars event, all of the universes are colliding against each other and only one of them is suspected to come out alive. And in this storyline, Doctor Doom steals the abilities from, I can't remember who it was, steals the power of an individual and saves multiple universes by stealing bits of them and creating his own kind of Doctor Doomverse where he is God and king. And there's like his police force are Thor's from across the multiverse. He's married to Sue Storm, and he's turned Johnny Storm into the son of his world, and all this really kind of cool stuff. And he dresses in all white. So like with a Fantastic Four coming out, if Doctor Doom is the main antagonist and they do it proper, and like with these incursions happening, I think it would be really cool for something like that to happen. And then you can almost restart the MCU.
Yeah. Do you think people would care though? Like, do you think people want that? Like, people want connectivity. People want to feel that sense of nostalgia, that sense of familiar.
Yes and no. I think we do want that, but there's a reason we've had 3 Spider-Mans and they've all been really good. Like there's a reason we've had 3 Spider-Man origin stories. Third one not super origin-y. It took like 3 movies to tell his origin. But here's my thing, right? And this is kind of going back to Jumping the Shark.
Show me
this movie was full of cameos. As much as this movie was about Doctor Strange and Wanda, it was just as much about setting up other stuff and calling back to other stuff. So much so that if, like we said earlier, Pete watches this movie, he's going to be like, what the hell's going on? If you don't watch Wanda, if you haven't watched, if you're not a comic book fans and you haven't watched the, not Thunderbolts. Oh man, I've got myself worked up here and I can't remember the name of, the Inhumans. You haven't watched the Inhumans, so you don't know who individually, like if you haven't watched all these previous stuff, you're lost. If you haven't watched X-Men movies, who's this bald guy?
No, yeah, I think you can still enjoy it. But I think that's the genius of Kevin Feige.
You can enjoy it, but you're losing and missing out on a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. And this movie uses so much of that past stuff that how do you enjoy the movie the way it's supposed to be enjoyed?
Oh, absolutely. And I've been arguing, like I said to Pete, I said, you have to watch Loki.
Yeah.
I said, it has major implications moving forward. I said, you have to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier.
This movie, you have to watch WandaVision. If you don't watch WandaVision, you go, wait.
Who the hell are her kids? Yeah.
Who are her kids? Why is she so obsessed with these kids?
Yeah. Wait, yeah, this film without WandaVision makes no
why
sense.
Is she off on her own and not hanging out with her friends? Like,
yeah. And I think that's maybe an issue right now, is that not enough average moviegoers, like you and I, you know, we're going to watch the second Moon Knight drops. We're going to be like, holy shit, Moon Knight?
I've seen it all. It's great.
Like, why, you know, and it's the same, but that is the bread and butter of Kevin Feige, right? It was the same thing as like the average moviegoer, or even the like novice comic book fan, would say, really? Guardians of the Galaxy? That's where we're going?
Yeah.
Why would you want? Nobody knows these characters. Nobody cares.
Yeah. So while I don't think MCU has jumped the shark as jumping the shark, as I read the description of what that is, I don't think it's done that, but it's done something else that doesn't have a name to it, in which if you haven't, I don't know what you would call it, if you haven't consumed all the previous material, then it's hard to fully enjoy the present material. And I don't know what you would call that. It's not jumping the shark, in my opinion, not as I understand it and have read it, but it's something else, and it definitely takes away from the viewing experience. Pete cannot watch Multiverse of Madness, having not watched WandaVision, and enjoy it the same way that we do. The way it's supposed to be viewed.
I think he did watch that one. I think that's one that he did see.
But
I think he watched
somebody
that.
Somebody else who hasn't seen WandaVision. If you haven't seen WandaVision, you only watch the movies, you can't enjoy, like, I would say you would have a hard time enjoying this movie, because you would be lost and confused for a large portion.
Specifically WandaVision.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay, so you can even go back one more movie. Go back to Spider-Man. If you haven't watched the previous 5 Spider-Mans from the Sony verses,
oh yeah,
how do you're lost and confused when they start showing up? Who are these guys?
You're doing yourself a huge disservice. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So the MCU is starting to do something that is hurting itself, and that's why I think a reset would be helpful. Because it's just, if you don't reset, you're just going to keep doing this thing, and it's just going to get worse.
Yeah.
Right? You can't watch What If. You can't watch this movie if you haven't watched What If and fully appreciate who Captain Carter is. Who is this? They look like Steve Rogers as Captain America, but it's not Steve Rogers. Who is this?
Yeah.
They look like maybe Peggy, like Peggy Carter last was seen in Avengers Endgame briefly. Would you recognize her as Peggy Carter in this film? I don't know.
Someone sent me a really funny meme the other day, and it was a cartoon of the moment that Steve Rogers returns to 1945. And it was Maria's like, or Peggy's like, I'm so happy to have you back. And there's just this like terrified, distressed look on Steve's face, and there's a little thought bubble or whatever that was like, I have to wait 35 years to watch Star Wars again? I was like, oh, that's good. So talking about the movie.
So that is one of my beefs with this movie. I really enjoy them because I'm all cut up. Like, I'm watching this stuff as it comes out. So it doesn't hinder my experience, but I looking at it kind of from a third party perspective that's not me, I can see how this is a problem. So that's an issue I have, but I really enjoy it.
Maybe they have too much they have too much faith in the fact that everyone's watching their stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's an issue, is that the average moviegoer is not treating the shows like the films. And you kind of have to. You kind of have to treat them as important.
Yeah. Because obviously this movie proves that these shows that we're putting out are going to be just as pivotal.
Yeah, because you might go, oh, I'm going to skip Miss Marvel because I don't, who the hell's that? I don't care about Miss Marvel. But I'm going to watch Captain Marvel 2 because I really like Captain Marvel. Well, Kamala is going to be in Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah.
And so now all of a sudden you're going to be like, what? Who the hell is this?
Person? Yeah. This is the perfect... Multiverse of Madness and WandaVision are the perfect examples right now because, well, we have them and we've seen them, right? Like Wanda's character arc, who she is as a character, completely changes throughout WandaVision and is picked up again here. So you've got this drastic change in character from Endgame. If you don't watch WandaVision, you don't know how she got from A to B. And I can see that as being very confusing.
It'd be very jarring.
And out of left field. And take away
so let's talk about the horror elements in this movie.
Very Sam Raimi.
Very Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
And very, even the corpse, even before he, possesses the corpse.
Zombie
even
Strange.
just when the first corpse is there and lying on the ground, you're like, this is like an Evil Dead corpse. This is a very... graphic corpse.
Yeah. And I think it's more like his comedic horror than his other work.
To an extent, I would argue that there are a couple elements, and two come to mind in particular of things that, I don't know, that just jump out to me as oh wow, man, I can't believe Kevin Feige was okay with this. One is when Wanda is sort of stalking them and chasing after them
in the tunnel,
and you have these kinds of he's sped up her movement a little bit and given her kind of that really witchy demon coming around the corners kind of horror thing.
Head cocked. Wet hair in front of the face.
Yeah, and then the other one is another. Again, it's all Wanda in this movie.
Yeah,
is specifically when she's escaping the prism realm, and she comes through that reflection, and her body is all broken and contorted.
Oh yeah, okay.
And that's whoa, what is happening here? This is dark.
Yeah, those are definitely some tense moments. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, and then just people coming out of the, Wanda, one version of Wanda getting dragged into the darkness and then trying to crawl out and then it pulling her back into the darkness and stuff. And I loved it, but I can see how if you're someone who can't handle any scares or anything creepy or anything I think that there will be elements of this movie that Pete gives a fairly negative review to for those things.
Yeah. I'm not a huge horror guy myself. I enjoy the Army of Darkness and the Evil Dead comedic ones. I haven't seen the newer ones. I don't know if I will. I'm not that into horror.
The remake of the 2013 or something remake of Evil Dead would mess you up.
Yeah. See, I like the comedic stuff, the comedic stuff that Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell did together with that franchise. That's as horror as I like. That there's scary stuff, but it's offset by really fun stuff.
Right.
Which, can we just appreciate for a moment how awesome Bruce Campbell is?
Oh yeah, I was so excited to see him
so
pop up.
good.
And again,
Yeah.
I was probably the only one in the theater that cared.
Yeah. Like I like Bruce. Bruce Campbell's probably my second favorite actor after Arnold Schwarzenegger. And that seems like an odd list to a lot of people, but that's my taste. So that's me.
When it reached the post-credit scene, like the end scene, and it was just him kind of saying it's over.
Yeah.
There was like audible grumbles in my theater. People were like,
that was so good.
Stupid.
They don't understand the callback
so
to Evil Dead in that, right? Because in the Evil Dead, there's a scene where his hand is possessed and he can't control it, and it's hitting him, and he's the fact that he can make that look like his hand is not under his control, and and the end credit scene, he's punching himself, and it looks like he's actually like that guy is awesome.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Where do you think we'll go? Like, so obviously we're not done with Doctor Strange. And something is teed up in that mid-credit scene, right? He goes through that portal and whatever to go help. Where do you think that's gonna, like, how long do we have to wait to see that come to fruition? Where is that leading to?
Yeah, I think my bet is like that Doctor Doom Secret Wars style storyline where, and maybe it won't be Doctor Doom and that way, but I feel like that's where it's heading. They're going to take that Secret Wars storyline and they're going to adapt it to the films. And maybe it's not, like I said, maybe it's not Doom. Maybe it's some other, maybe it's Kang. Maybe Kang somehow is going to converge a bunch of planets and create the this kind of utopia under his control, and we'll have to have a group of in that excuse me, in that comic book storyline, there were a group of heroes that boarded a what they dubbed a life raft that was made by Mr. Fantastic to survive this converging of universes, and they land on Doctor Doom's homemade planet universe, and they end up ending this storyline.
Because
I think we're gonna have something like this.
Isn't it the holy grail of comic book? Isn't it the holy grail of comic book filmmaking to try to get Doctor Doom right?
Oh, yes.
To do him properly.
Please. We are 0 for 2 on a good Doctor Doom. Because Doctor Doom is...
They've turned him into a total joke.
If you do Doctor Doom right, he is a combination of Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Because he's a sorcerer. He builds himself a suit of armor that is crazy powerful, and he is ridiculously smart. And the last two versions we've seen of him in the last two Fantastic Four separate films, he's been a joke.
Yeah.
He's nothing like what he should be.
No. What other points of this film do we need to hit on?
I had an issue with the Book of Ashanti story, part of the story.
It was
pointless.
Kind of second fiddle.
No, it was completely pointless. Nothing came of it. We were given this idea, this MacGuffin that will save us from the Darkhold. It is the antithesis to the Darkhold. It is the only thing that can stop it, and nothing came of it.
And it was so easily destroyed.
It was and in the comic books, it itself can deflect any kind of magic. So it's nothing like the comic book version.
And
was it even the real version? Like it was useless. It was completely useless.
And it's weird that there's a Darkhold in every universe, but only one copy outside of all of the universes of this other book.
So, and this is this is one of my biggest problems with the film, is that we spend so much time going after this Book of Vishanti, this MacGuffin, this save the day item, and nothing comes of it. We chase it. We end up in the Illuminati verse. We get all these reveals, but all of that is pointless in the grand scheme of the film. It's like, now this is one of those things that I loved it, right? It was great. But looking back, spending some time thinking about it, I think it would have been much better if we spent more time with Doctor Strange and Wanda battling out some other way, or actually getting that book and something happening.
Yeah. My biggest beef with this film I thought for sure watching the film that Illuminati verse Wanda was going to go for that book. 100%. Right.
She's standing in the door. She turns around. She sees the book, like kind of burning on the ground. I thought for sure she was going to go back, look at the book, find some scraps of paper that can save the day, and then we have a Wanda versus Wanda ending. I thought that. Yeah. I thought for sure that's what was going to happen.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I agree. My biggest beef is that this film is called Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And really, it probably could have been called Doctor Strange in one or two other universes. Aside from like one montage where there's like the paint universe and the cartoon universe, like that was a really fun montage. And I was like, oh, wow, like, you know, sky's the limit. There's so many possibilities here. And then we spend most of our time in the Illuminati universe and then a little bit in that universe that had the incursion happen. And then that's it. And then we head back to our own universe. And it just kind of felt like, I don't know. I was looking for more madness. I was looking for more like universe jumping than what we got.
Yeah. And that kind of, I feel like, we spent a lot of time in Illuminati verse for nothing, because they ended up going there by accident. But then the whole reason we stayed there is because she can't control her powers. And then they realize, oh, we can get to the book from here. It just feels, but then we get back to the book problem. The book is meaningless in the grand scheme of the film. It's just a MacGuffin that they're after that never pays off. Yeah. I felt disappointed by that. And because of that, I felt like all those really cool cameos, which I loved, were pointless. And
they were, well, ultimately they were. Yeah. And none of the deaths meant anything, with the exception of potentially Wanda's, like the 616 Wanda, assuming she's dead. But I think she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My biggest beef in this film, my last thing, my biggest beef, and there is no redeeming quality in this beef. It's egregious in my opinion. It doesn't make any sense. Is right at the end of the film, they're rebuilding Comitage with ancient tools while people are doing magic watching. What the heck? Like, just
you gotta
magic that crap back together.
No. They're training up because so many people died. I think they're training up a new...
Oh, but Doctor Strange himself could, like, snap his fingers and fixie fix.
Rebuild.
Like,
yeah.
Like, let's spend years fixing up Comitage by hand instead of let's just get it fixed and get back to the business of protecting the universe.
Especially now that he's a Triclops, apparently.
Yeah. So that was my only real egregious beef, I think. It felt a little weird. I was shaking my head a bit like, what? Why? Why are they doing that? Scaffolding made of bamboo.
All right, sir. Scale of 1 to 10.
Ooh,
how do you rate Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness?
I think I'd give it I think I give it an 8. I really enjoyed it. I think it was better than the first film. Yeah, we got big, cool, fun cameos.
Yep.
And like we even got
a lot
little
of teases
cameos
to what's coming.
Teases to what's coming. We even got little cameos that some people might have missed, like Shuma Gorath, the big tentacle one-eyed monster. That was really cool.
Yeah.
But it did have some drawbacks, so it's definitely not like the best Marvel film, but it's up there, I think. It's sitting pretty close to the top, but not on top of the mountain.
Yeah. I don't even think it's the best of the post-Endgame era.
Well, we haven't had a lot, but yeah. I think Spider-Man definitely tops that list.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I would even I really loved Legend of the Ten Rings. Like, I ate that film up.
Do I like Legend of the Ten Rings more than Multiverse of Madness?
Especially when you got, like, to me, the best cameo that we've gotten post-Endgame. No, that's not true. Obviously, the best cameo that we've gotten post-Endgame is Toby and Andrew. Next to that was, what's his face? The fake Mandarin showing up in Legend. Yeah. That was so funny, and it was so well placed. It was so good.
I'm quickly running down, like, what I really liked about Endgame and what I liked about Ten Rings and what I liked about Multiverse. And I would give that to you. Yeah. Multiverse of Madness is definitely below Ten Rings.
I think maybe next
the
to
cameos
Thanos
were not as important, not as hindering as they were in this one. If you hadn't watched previous material, but they also it was just as fun and just as entertaining, and did some really cool things for the MCU.
I think next to Thanos, Ten Rings may have had the best villain that we've had in the MCU.
I don't know if I go that far.
All right. Well, that's fine. You don't have to.
I don't know who I'd put there, but I wouldn't put Thanos at the top, but I wouldn't put the Mandarin at the top either.
Okay. That's fair.
I need some time to think on that.
All right.
Cool. What did you give it?
There you go. I didn't know if that was going to happen.
I needed some time to ponder the questions you posed.
Yeah. I give it an 8.5, so very close to you. And some of that might be fueled by, like, I walked out of the theater literally just a little over 12 hours ago.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm still buzzing.
Still on the buzz. I've had some time to remunerate and calculate.
Yeah. And so, maybe on a second viewing it would go down, or maybe it would go up. I don't know. But just out of like a pure enjoyment, like how much fun did I have? Do I think it's a worthy successor to the films that came before? I think it's absolutely a worthy successor to WandaVision.
What about the first Doctor Strange?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Like I said, the first film isn't, I think it's better than the first film, certainly.
Yeah.
I don't think the first film is bad. I also just think that it's like, it's not
top tier Marvel.
It's never been one of my favorite. And so, yeah. And I don't know why.
Well, it's pretty, like we get a lot of origin stories from Marvel, from not just Marvel, but superhero movies in general. And it's pretty standard origin story fare in terms of storyline. So I think that doesn't help it.
Disconnected from the rest of the universe.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that this movie does better, just because it's the second movie, is we don't have to set a lot of stuff up. We just get to jump right into the fun.
Oh yeah. And we do like
literally jump right into the fun. Defender Strange running through.
Yeah. When I first saw the runtime of this film, I was like, oh, That's short. Like, it seems odd that it's just over 2 hours. This film moves at a breakneck pace.
It does, but it still has some slow points, which I wrote down that it has some slow points, but I don't feel like that's a bad thing, right?
No.
It gives you time to breathe and to process. You need to catch your breath. And like I think a lot of films suffer nowadays from keeping the action and the pace going nonstop.
Yeah. Okay, sir, I have some news in the world of movies, some of it even MCU related. I'll start with that one. So Moon Knight has wrapped up officially.
Yeah, that was a fun show. Did you enjoy it?
It seems I did. I spent a lot of it confused, as I think most people did. It's very different from... It draws... I mean, there's... Moon Knight's one of those characters that has many different comic iterations of him. The one that I enjoy the most is the one where he's basically like the MCU Batman, kind of like from the 80s Moon Knight stuff.
Okay.
This is a very different Moon Knight than we've seen in the comics. They kind of took a lot of...
It's more modern day kind of Moon Knight interpretation.
Yeah, they took a lot of liberties. They leaned really heavily into like giving him powers and having this like very strong tie to like his Egyptian god,
Khonshu. Yeah, which is like I said, like that's very much what the modern Moon Knight is about.
Which is something
multiple
that
personalities and the powers from Khonshu.
It's something that makes me wonder so many things too. I'm like, okay, so we have in the MCU, we have Norse gods, we have Egyptian gods, we have
Eternals,
the Eternals, we have the Celestials, we have if you've seen the trailer for Love and Thunder. Have you seen the trailer for Love and Thunder?
I'm trying to do the same thing with Love and Thunder that I did with Strange. I'm enjoying the MCU a lot right now, obviously, because of the different content that's out there. But so I'm trying to watch as little. I have seen a image or a clip of like somebody holding a lightning bolt with Thor in the background.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. That's all you need to know. Yeah. It seems like we have Greek gods. We have like Zeus and stuff like that. And I don't think that they're actually going to be an addition to, considering our villain in that film is Gore the God Butcher. I think they're all going to get wiped out pretty quick. But I'm just like, so like, how does everybody fit in with each other? And like, do all these gods go to like mixers together and like
well, it seems like with the Moon Knight series, the Egyptian gods anyway have kind of gone underground, and a lot of them have been trapped inside these little mini statues for whatever reason.
When the Eternals were at their height and Norse gods were on Earth and Greek gods were on Earth and Egyptian gods were not underground. Like, what was it? Just mayhem?
Yeah.
Because they all.
I feel like we're getting back to that thing that we were talking about earlier about like where does the MCU go? Is there too much going on now?
Yeah, because they all seem like each mythology within the MCU seems to have people who like have the same roles and fill the same position, right? It's not like, okay, well, the Egyptian gods take care of this, and this about the earth.
Yeah, they touched on that a little bit in Moon Knight when they were on the boat sailing towards bit where the hippo lady was like, yeah, when you die, you go to whatever you believe is versions of heaven or hell. So if you believe in Norse mythology, you go there. If you believe in Egyptian, you come here.
That's kind of a pleasant thought.
Yeah. So, it doesn't. It's still like
if you believe you come back as a ficus,
some stuff, but it still leaves a lot of stuff blurry and messy. Like how does this pantheon interact with that pantheon? Like Do they ever go to war?
Anyways,
what's going on?
As I was saying, the series is wrapped. It seems pretty definitive now that it will not be getting renewed for a second season. It was a limited series. Having said that, the producers have suggested pretty heavily, and I think this is sort of a given, that Moon Knight will return at some point in the MCU. I don't know if he'll get his own movie, but I do think he'll
get another series. I think that's.
You think he'll get another series?
He might. He might pop up as a cameo in some movies, and he might get another series. That would be my guess.
He could certainly be a part of that Secret Wars.
Yeah,
if that happened.
Yeah. There's the possibility that he could end up being. I can't remember the name of them, but they're essentially like Dark Defenders or Dark Avengers, where in the comic books.
Yeah.
Blade, Moon Knight, Doctor Strange.
Well, in the comics, we've got West Coast Avengers. We've
sometimes
got
Daredevil.
East Coast Avengers.
Well, these guys are like more. They fight the mystic evil,
right?
Kind of like the Dark JLA.
Yeah.
They take on supernatural forces.
Now that you've seen Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness in a theater, you have seen the first trailer, if you can call it that, for the long anticipated or dreaded Avatar 2.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to have to see it because of the podcast. I am genuinely curious because it's been so damn long. And
did you like the first one?
Notoriously on this show, we have hated on it.
Yeah.
Very passionately. Yeah. Pete and I reviewed it, I don't know when, a little while back. And I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's overhyped.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what I felt. I felt like it was overhyped as being this original masterpiece. And
it's a Pocahontas wasn't really that with
Pocahontas, or I personally felt like it felt more like Dances with Wolves.
Well, you would.
Well, shut up. It's a great movie.
What'd you think of the trailer? I think that this might be my, obviously I'll have to go see it. I think it might be the first time in 10, 12 years that I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a 3D ticket, because some of that underwater stuff seemed pretty cool, and I'm just curious. I mean, it's been 12 years since I've seen a 3D movie. I'm curious if the technology's changed, if it's a better experience than it used to be.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll go to the theater and watch it. Watching the trailer, it looked gorgeous. It didn't get me excited. It got me made me feel more confused. Trying to remembering what I remember about the last film and watching this, I'm just like, okay, humans are still there. Where's the conflict? Okay, I'm not sure how this story is going to work. Kind of.
The trailer gives us nothing. Except for some visuals.
I feel more confused than anything. I don't feel hyped. I feel more confused about what story they're trying to tell. So that's not going to draw me into the theater because of that. But I will eventually definitely see it because it's James Cameron.
Yeah.
The guy knows how to make a movie. As overhyped as the first Avatar was, it was still good, right?
It's a good movie.
There's nothing wrong with drawing inspiration from other film and kind of mirroring a storyline in your own and telling it in your own way.
Yeah. I mean, that's, drawing from comics, that's what the entire MCU is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, what's that saying about copying is the something of art or whatever?
Imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
That's the word. That's the thing. Yep. That's the one.
Okay, so two more quick things here. One is that Barbara Broccoli, who is the producer, owner, rights holder, what have you, to James Bond in the 007 series, has announced that it will be a while before a new 007 is named.
Boo.
I mean, I get it. I think when you were doing the old iterations, right? And you were like, okay, well, Roger Moore's done. Finally. Let's I don't know, okay, who can we get? Who can we get that could fill that role? Timothy Dalton. Okay, yeah, sure. Timothy Dalton did too, I think. Okay, he's done. Okay, Pierce Brosnan kind of has, he's got the look. He's got, we'll get him. With Daniel Craig, Daniel Craig was James Bond for like 15 years.
Yeah, what, 4 films? Or was it 5? 4 or 5.
4 or 5. That they reinvented the wheel with that thing.
Yeah, very different than what the series had been used to.
Right, like they rebooted it, really. Like before, 007 always felt like some very confusing continuation, whereas this was like, this
Very
was an
much so.
origin story.
Yeah.
And like this was a self-contained thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I understand the resistance to rush where they're going next. However, to play devil's advocate, they've known for years now that this was going to be Daniel Craig's last 007 movie. So you'd think they would have started that search.
Yeah.
And maybe they have started that search.
Well, I think there is something to be said for taking a break and letting people kind of cool off and on kind of Bond overload or Bond sensate, feel like getting these Bond movies and waiting for them. Like I think Star Wars is a good example of this. For the prequels, we had what was it? 15, 20 years between
it's something like that.
6
years.
and 1. Like that I think there's something to be said for letting things cool off before rehyping them.
Yeah, you need time to come up with, your Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. This is another reason the Marvel films are kind of at a what's going on, what's the next step phase. It's like you're just
especially with the shows, we're getting them faster and more aggressively than we've ever gotten MCU content.
Like Moon Knight just ended, Doctor Strange, Thor's right around the corner.
Yeah.
We're going to have, is Wakanda Forever this year still? Is Wakanda at the end of the year?
It is this year, yep.
Yeah, like that's
then,
four films and several movie shows, 4 or 5 shows in a year. That's a lot of content to consume.
Coming still this year.
That's a lot of content.
The Miss Marvel show is starting in June.
Like I already feel full.
She-Hulk is coming this year.
Oh, right. I've completely, She-Hulk. Oh my, like there's so much Marvel content. And
then,
like we were saying, you have to consume it all. You pretty much have to consume it all.
But then next year is Secret Invasion, the show, Ironheart, Armor Wars, a Wakanda series. And as far as films next year, we've got why can't I see them? Next year for films, we've got Ant-Man and the Wasp, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Marvels. So that's five MCU events.
I could do for a break from Marvel.
So here's a question about 007.
Give me some space. Let me breathe. Let the rumor mill do its thing, let the hype die down, let the rumor mill build up, and give me something then.
And I wonder if their approach is like, okay, so we had WandaVision. And then a year and a bit, almost a year and a half later, we had Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. In between that, there was a bunch of other stuff that happened, but a lot of it was disconnected from everything else. Okay, so now we've had Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And we're going to take a break from Doctor Strange and Wanda and the multiverse, and we're going to give you Thor Love and like, I wonder if they're less like, okay, we're going to give you a break from the MCU, and more like, we're letting characters and storylines breathe.
Right. We'll give you a break from this. Yeah. So kind of what I was kind of saying, maybe they're going in different directions through several different storylines, several different major events.
Yeah.
Is that what
you're will all culminate at some point.
Yeah.
So question about 007. This is going to be unpopular. And 007 is a money-making machine, so I know this isn't going to happen. But should they just be done? With the way it ended and the performance that he gave and the number of films that we've had, like, what is the need? Like, considering the next one would have to be a reboot and start over again. Do we need that?
I feel like that's an obvious answer. Right? Like, yeah, of course they should be done. Like, the story's done. There's no cliffhanger. I haven't seen the last film yet, but I assume there's no cliffhanger.
There's no cliffhanger.
Yeah. No. So, yeah, of course the story's done. But money. Right? Like,
yeah.
they got a license to print money. All they got to do is make a film.
Has the last film been spoiled for you at all?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't watched that podcast episode yet.
Well, I mean, there's other spoilers out there than just us.
Well, no, I haven't watched other. I don't listen to other podcasts, Brady. You're my only.
There are memes and articles and anyways.
No, I haven't seen anything else on it.
So finally, Obi-Wan is just around the corner. Obviously, they've
another thing I'm
trying
to go spoiler free for. I've watched very, very little for this. I haven't seen a single trailer.
That's fine. Ewan McGregor has already expressed to Disney that he would like to come back and play Obi-Wan again. Now, you always have to take it with a grain of salt when an actor says, I would like to work some more and make more money.
Yeah.
But what I'm curious is, we haven't seen Obi-Wan yet. We don't know what happens in it. We don't know how it ends. Is that something you would want? Do you want more? Are you like, you know what? Give me as many helpings of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan as I can get? Or are you like, okay, one more film or this series, 6-part series, and then that's it. His story's been told.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like after this, his story is told, especially if you've watched some of the Clone Wars stuff, the cartoons, which are really good. But I mean,
or even Rebels.
Yeah, Rebels. Yeah, he has that nice part in Rebels. He's not a main character, but there's definitely an episode there that he's a really important episode. No, I don't want one. That being said, if they make one and the story is good, I'm going to end up watching it, but I don't want one.
It's like heroin. You're like, okay, I know that's enough. I should be done. I'm not going to take any more.
Quitting cold turkey, no more.
But if someone hands you the syringe and the tourniquet or what, I don't know. I've never done heroin.
All right, I guess this. Yeah,
you're like, well, but it's Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. I'm not gonna say no to hello there.
Gotta watch at least the first episode or the first 10 minutes of the movie. I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah. Cool. Sir, what did you watch this week?
Ooh, what did I watch? Well, let me see. I got a small list this week. I watched on Friday movie night with my family. I guess it wasn't Friday. I watched Multiverse of Madness on Friday. I missed family movie night. So my wife and daughter, they watched their own little movie. But we moved family movie night to Saturday night, and it was my pick. Ooh, so I picked Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay. I was very curious because I know you just wrapped Back to the Future.
Yeah, and so
I was wondering where you go from there.
Well, yeah, and we had just watched Karate Kid 3. So the trilogy is wrapped up, but there is still the next Karate Kid, the film called The Next Karate Kid, with what's her name? I won't remember. I'm not going to Google search it. It'll take too much time. But so
are you going to make them watch Cobra Kai after?
Ada has expressed interest. I've seen the whole thing. I feel it might be a little too intense for her compared to the films. I feel like compared to the films are both are great. Like the films are awesome, and Cobra Kai is awesome. Cobra Kai is awesome because it takes the films, which were very black and white, and who's good and who's bad.
And then fleshes it out.
It fleshes it out, and all of a sudden, the bad guys aren't bad. They're just broken people, and the good guys aren't so good. They have kind of ulterior motives and are broken people as well. And it's really good
life. That's one of my life philosophies, actually. Not to get too deep on the podcast. I don't think anyone is bad. I just think we have a lot of broken people.
Yeah. So it's really good. I don't know if I'll let Ada watch it quite yet, but we'll see. She is interested. So we watched Sonic. What a great film.
Had you not seen it?
I had not seen it. It was so good.
It
would have been horrible if they didn't redo the CG of Sonic.
Oh yeah.
It would have been so bad. I would not have been able to.
They tried to make it too realistic.
Make Sonic look realistic?
In that first...
Oh, they tried to make him too grounded. Humanoid. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, no, just give us Sonic.
He's an alien. Make him him looking like his iconic self is perfect. So much fun. The acting is really well done in terms of the actor is acting with an invisible Sonic. It doesn't seem like they're... Yeah, it's really well done. I really enjoyed it. The story was great. Jim Carrey...
that was his return to form.
Yeah. He doesn't start out as Dr. Robotnik that we know and love from the comics and from the games and from the TV shows that we may have seen as growing
Everybody
up.
Listening just went, "There's comics?"
Oh yeah. Yeah. So but he at the end of the film, he's got that massive mustache and he's definitely there at the end of the film. So I am looking forward to watching the second one with my family.
It's better than it has any right being, especially considering James Marsden is in it.
Yeah, and it's a video game movie. So last time I was on, we talked about movies being made into video games and how that's always usually a horrible mistake that should have never happened.
And vice versa.
It goes the other way too. A lot of
mistake.
Video games have problems when they get made into movies.
Oh yeah, Assassin's Creed, Hitman.
Yeah. Sonic did it. Sonic was great.
The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah. So there was very little I don't think there's much of anything I didn't like about Sonic. It knew what kind of movie it was. It played on it, and it did its thing. And it wasn't it didn't ask for forgiveness for it. And because of that, it hit all the marks perfectly for me.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah. And
did you watch anything else?
So I finished watching Moon Knight. Watched the final. So that was a lot of fun. I had read some theories that there was a third personality locked away somewhere, and so that reveal was really cool.
Jake, right?
Jake Lockley, I think is what it was. Yeah. Which was, and like that, the theories that I had watched and read were before they ever went to the land of the dead. And as soon as they were in the land of the dead and there was that coffin in the room shaking that they walked by, I was like, there is a third personality. It definitely is true. And then it just kept happening. Yeah. So yes, it was, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. It definitely poses a bunch of more questions for the MCU and,
you leave it with more questions asked than answered.
But as kind of standalone Marvel Enterprise TV show, it was fun. It was different than a lot of what we've seen before because of what it deals with the multiple personality stuff and the Egyptian stuff and all that. So it felt fresh and different. And then the last thing is my wife and I have been watching The Tick on Amazon Prime, which has been a lot of fun.
Okay, not the one from like the early 2000s, late 90s.
No. Although I think I definitely like that actor playing the Tick better. I think he does a better job. But,
Patrick Warburton?
Yeah. Yep, that's the guy. But this one is still really good, and it's a lot of fun, and it's funny. Like, it is. Emily and I both, every once in a while, just have a little belly giggle laugh at the Tick's silliness and how he acts and reacts to things. Yeah. It's a fun TV show. And that's pretty much all I've watched in the last little while. Since I was last on, which was only a couple weeks ago.
Cool.
What did you watch this week, Brady?
I had a slow week. I didn't really watch anything. I binged, what's it called? Bullshit. There was on Netflix, there's a new game show hosted by Howie Mandel.
A game show?
Yeah. Yeah, and I binged that yesterday. And that's
on Netflix?
Yeah.
What was it called? You don't remember?
It's called Bullshit.
Oh, it's called Bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And it's actually it's a lot of fun. There's 10 episodes, they're half hour each. So I just kind of,
give us a rundown. What's the show about? What's the game?
Basically, you can win $1 million. There's 10 questions that you're asked. So when you're in the hot seat,
this sounds like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Kind of. It kind of feels like that in a way. So you're there and you have 10 questions, each one worth more money. At 2 points, at any point, you can lock in the amount that you're at. So you have two lock-ins, right? So you can lock in. The first question's worth $1,000. If you get it right, you can lock in at that $1,000, meaning that no matter what happens, you're not going home with less than $1,000.
I'm just imagining somebody locking it in, like as soon as they answer the first question. I'm in. Lock it down.
a lot of people do. Yeah. You get a second lock, but you can't use your second lock until you're 3 questions past your first lock. And then but what's great about it is so that he asks you the questions. There's 4 options. You don't have to know the right answer.
Oh.
So you can know the right answer, in which case you automatically get it right and you move on. But there's 3 challengers, 3 people standing there watching you working against you. And so you answer the question on your little tablet, and it tells you right away whether you got it right or wrong. And if you got it wrong, then it's now your job to look at the 3 competitors or challengers and tell them what your answer is and why that's the right answer. And then they can either agree with you or they can call bullshit.
Ah.
And if you had the right answer, like I said, you automatically move on. If you were bullshitting and all 3 people call bullshit, then you're out. But if you convince at least one person that you were telling the truth, then you get to move on. So it's less about knowing the right answers definitely helps.
So
but it's less about knowing the right answer.
And all the 3 panelists call bullshit.
It doesn't, you still move on.
You still move on. Okay.
Yeah. And then, so the way that it kind of works is then like the 3 challengers, their accuracy is constantly being tabulated, like how many times they were right or wrong about you being right or wrong. And then once you're out or done, you've walked away with the money you have, or you've been eliminated, or, you know, whatever, you've gone all the way to $1 million, then whoever of the challengers was the most accurate is now the one in the hot seat, and there's a new challenger who fills their spot.
Cool.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Because you kind of get to sit and play along as the challenger and decide whether or not you think they know the answer and whether or not they're telling the truth. Then
yeah, that's a fun concept.
Yeah. And that's it. Wrap it up for us, sir.
Let me see. Follow on socials, Instagram, yada yadas.
They're all listed below.
Patreon supporters. Comment, like,
lots of benefits if you support us on Patreon.
Eat your vitamins and vegetables, and my name is Pete. Good night.